Welcome to another episode of the Cristo podcast. If you enjoy what we're doing here today, or have been doing, make sure to like, follow, subscribe, all that good stuff, so we can to help grow the channel. So with me today, and as always, is Danny.
Just Danny.
And today we're talking about, I can't believe I'm saying this in a way, but Mike Tyson versus Roy Jones Jr.
I can't wait.
I don't know. I feel kind of weird about it because, like, they were great for their time, but at the same time, it's just like I don't want to see these great champions that I used to know, like, just get head damage, bro. Like, I don't want to see this kind of stuff.
They might not get damaged, though.
Boy, Roy Jones Jr. versus Mike Tyson?
I'm more afraid for Roy Jones Jr. than I am for Mike Tyson.
I'm more scared for Mike Tyson than I am for Roy Jones Jr.
Why is that?
Because Roy Jones Jr. has been in it for a while, and he's been doing pretty good.
Pretty good?
Pretty good.
What's he been doing lately?
Boxing?
Oh, so has Mike Tyson. He's been training.
Training. He hasn't been active in the sport for a very long time.
15 years?
That's what I'm saying.
His last fight was in June of 2005 or 2006.
That's a long time ago. Now, don't get me wrong. Mike Tyson is the most dangerous man on the planet. You know what I mean? He didn't earn that nickname for nothing. The Dynamite Kid. But the thing is, 15 years without of inactivity. We've seen it in other fight sports. Inactivity, there's such thing as ring rust.
Like Chuck Liddell getting knocked out by T1.
That should have never happened. That should have never happened, bro.
I'm kind of afraid that that's what it's going to look like.
It's possible. But there's also the kind of, like, there was rumors, there was something that happened, and then they were saying because it's a charity fight that they weren't going to go all out. And then when a lot of people heard that, they were like, oh, we're not going to bother watching this fight. And then Mike Tyson came back out and said, no, I'm going to rip his head off. I'm going to try and, drink his blood, all this, Mike Tyson stuff.
That old school Mike Tyson
That's
stuff.
it, and then...
Things that people aren't allowed to say anymore.
Yeah, exactly. It's not that PG era.
It's not the 90s anymore.
That's it, bro.
No, but the thing is, did you hear about Roy Jones Jr. saying that he might have made a mistake?
Oh, did he say that?
He said that at one point.
But is he selling the fight too? This is what I'm thinking too.
That's not selling the fight. That's cowering.
I don't know. I feel like as well, like at this point, they could be doing anything to sell the fight because it is a charity event. Neither of them have like.
I made a mistake though.
I don't know. Because Roy Jones Jr. He's dangerous in his own way, and like everybody's hyping Mike Tyson and this and that.
He's swift with it.
And that's
it.
it.
He's one of the best I've ever seen.
Because like how many times have we seen fighters who like faint being scared in the ring and then come out with like a vicious attack, bro? It happens. It even happened where a guy pretended to be gray zoned and the ref stopped the fight and he lost the fight. And he's like, no, I was just faking it. It happens, bro. But at the same time, like this could be a tactic. Because I just don't see like, I see them both being, if they're actually going to go all out, they're both very dangerous. They're both very, very dangerous. And that's what kind of scares me is because one guy is going to end up on the ground. One old dude is going to end up on the ground with severe head trauma. I don't like the idea of that. I'm going to be honest with you. It's going to be exciting, but I don't like the idea of that.
Not necessarily. I mean, Mike Tyson is not going to be fighting like the same way that he was in the 80s. It's not going to be.
I don't want to say as quick, but definitely I think maybe close to the same viciousness.
But if you look at his videos, if you look at his current videos,
he's looking pretty good, bro.
He's looking very good.
He's looking so good.
He's looking very good. But okay, so my question is, because earlier you said that you were more worried for Mike Tyson than you were for Roy Jones. Mm-hmm. Now, Roy Jones has been knocked out, okay? Like in the past couple of years, he's been knocked out. But then, what would you say about Mike Tyson, who hasn't been knocked out or hasn't received any head damage in the last 15 years? Who is safer in that sense?
That's a really hard question to answer because, like, at the same time, it's like we don't know. You literally have to do scans and figure out like that kind of thing. But like, it's just the answer I think you're looking for, and the answer that sounds most correct is that Mike Tyson's brain or chin is gonna be better. But the thing is like I don't think getting concussed and brain damage and stuff like this works like that. Once you're kind of, you know what I mean, you have a soft chin, you have a soft chin.
Forever.
It doesn't really get better.
You can't
Brain damage doesn't get better, like these kind of things. So it's hard to say. But I would definitely agree with you where Roy Jones has had some more recent trauma.
And he's got more fights than Mike Tyson.
But the thing is, what I will argue is the ring rust. This is what makes Roy Jones Jr., I believe, more dangerous. Is that he's been in the game. He's been, you know what I mean? So he hasn't like, in a sense, lost that beat for like, Mike Tyson's been 15 years, and just because he trained for like, you know, a couple months, it doesn't mean that everything will be back at 100%, whereas Roy Jones Jr. has been in there.
Remember when Mike Tyson came out of prison?
Yeah.
He still was never the same after he came back from prison.
Well, he started going on a downward slide after Gus Camado. He passed away. Like things went on a downhill. Everything just wasn't really the same after that. Like
he was still very dangerous.
He was still very
after
dangerous.
He came out of prison, I don't think he was the same as before he went in either. And that was 3 years he did in prison.
Yeah.
Right now, 15 years without fighting.
Yeah.
You know, but I mean, the fact that it's a charity event.
That's just it.
It's like there's less pressure.
Yeah.
You know, it's not like a real fight. It's not like he's fighting for a championship or anything like that.
But I think there might be fighting for something a little bit more important than that. Because both of them, I don't want to say both of them. Mike Tyson, I feel like he's kind of better off when it comes to money. I feel like it's more about legacy, but at the same time,
He's
it's
got
not.
nothing else to prove.
Mike Tyson's a different human being. He's a different human. Did you see that video where he did? I think it was on. I want to say Sway's podcast or radio channel, where he was talking about how there's a monster inside and he wants to let it out and stuff like that. And like, bro, even on Joe Rogan's podcast, he was talking about how he can't exercise without letting out the beast. Like he starts becoming aggressive, overly competitive. You know what I mean? Like he can't work out for those reasons. And now it's just like, is that he wants to kind of let the beast out. He's not like a regular human being. And that's what makes him very, very, very dangerous.
When they trained him as a kid, they weren't able to turn off that switch.
Yeah,
He was trained to be some kind of boxing soldier of some kind.
He was already coming from a violent, aggressive, messed up background.
Brownsville, Brooklyn, back in those days.
But a lot of people don't know that Cus Camado was, I'm sorry if I'm saying that wrong, had like a background in psychology, bro. And then he would take Mike Tyson to another doctor where they would, in a sense, hypnotize him and put in his brain that he was this violent, destroying machine and that he was undefeatable, and it was just that. So like a lot of people don't know this side about it.
My defense is impregnable.
Jeez.
I want to eat your heart. I want to eat your children.
But I don't think we're gonna get that Mike Tyson either. Like, I feel like this Mike Tyson is gonna be closer to, you know, the Mike Tyson that was when Gus was alive, and he was a lot more respectful, but at the same time, like, I just don't think we're going to get the same ferocity and speed and violence. I feel like it's going to be more of a refined, looking like more refined boxing. And then as well, there's the issue of, same issue when he was a kid, is that, like, Evander Holyfield figured out, if I can make it into the later rounds, Mike Tyson's going to be tired, bro. You know what I mean? If he tires out, is Mike Tyson going to be using that same mentality of trying to come in and beat people up and
I think
And
he could.
he's old.
I think he could.
He's old. He hasn't trained in.
So
in
is
years.
Roy Jones. They
Roy Jones
only
has
have
been
2-year
in it.
difference. They've got 2-year difference.
But he's been in it. His cardio has been kept up. You know what I mean? Like, who knows what kind of, like, we kind of know where John Jones is standing. You see what I'm saying? But Mike Tyson, it's a huge. You see what I'm saying? We don't know if he's gonna come out the old Mike Tyson, the vicious Mike Tyson, the violent Mike Tyson, the.
Look, so Roy Jones was a middleweight, okay, welterweight, middleweight. Mike Tyson, heavyweight. Heavyweights are known to have more power. Now, okay, Roy Jones has less power than Mike Tyson, but like, okay, so, I mean, I'm missing my point here. No, okay, so I don't think he could take a hit. I don't think he's ever been hit as hard as Mike Tyson hits people. Like I don't think he ever met someone who can hit that hard ever, and that's a big problem.
Yeah.
Right? I don't think he's used to that kind of pressure.
Yeah.
And you don't really lose power with age. Yeah, you can lose.
No, you lose power with age for sure.
I don't know. Like I saw Mike Tyson train today, and how he was training back then. He looks pretty much the same.
I wouldn't say so. I to me, he was a little bit faster. There was something that he
was-
had more of a snap in his punches, a little bit more speed, a little bit more
Yeah,
ferocity, and just his footwork.
100%, sure, but the power once it hits you,
Oh yeah, for sure. And I'll say that.
and he's not fighting a young guy.
But once
He's
again,
not.
it's one of those questions: is Mike Tyson coming back with that same power? You know what I mean? Like we don't know. We still don't know. Like
Okay, so who you got winning?
oh man, I don't even want to talk about that. Who do I got winning?
Come on.
I'm gonna be honest with you. I want to see I want to see Mike Tyson win. I want to see that old, vicious, nasty, boxing. I want to see him brutalize.
Okay,
But at the same time, like I don't think that Roy Jones Jr. is gonna allow that to happen.
he's fast
He's pretty fast.
still, but I mean he's lost his chin though.
Yeah, he's lost his chin, and all it takes.
Mike
is
Tyson has a better chin than Roy Jones.
hopefully, maybe, I don't know.
Well,
And
okay,
at the same time, it's just that like if he comes in and he corners Roy Jones Jr., it's very different, right?
okay. Look, I want Mike Tyson to win. However, if he wins, he might want to do it more. I love Mike Tyson. I want to see him do good.
Yeah.
I want to see him be safe.
Yeah.
But winning is addictive. Right? So if he wins, he's going to be like, I want to do this more. It's like, no, like, I don't.
Speaking of wanting to do it more as well, Evander Holyfield is coming out and saying, Mike Tyson, I want next. He's training hard too. I don't know. I didn't really look at the video of him training, but I just don't like this idea of like, my grandparents coming out to fight. You know what I mean? Like, I'm not trying to be rude, but it's like when it comes to fight age, you know what I mean? This is dangerous, man. These guys are dare I say, seniors in the fighting world. You know what I mean?
That's an understatement in itself.
Like, you know what I mean? Like, if you're, the saying when your grandparents like fall over, it means that they're kind of close to that.
Yeah, they'll break their hip.
They break their hip, they hit their heads, and then it's just like, bro, they only got like a couple more years to live, if that. You know what I mean? It's kind of like that, and like you don't like. I don't want to see somebody get hit and then end up like one of our greatest legends of all time, Muhammad Ali. You see what I'm saying? Like that was the saddest thing to see.
It was sad.
You know what I mean?
It was sad, but he did so much during and after that, it's like, how can you not salute it?
Yeah. But I don't think anybody wants to see that. Even Anderson Silva, nobody wants to see their fighters, their heroes become like that.
I just don't want to see another Chuck Liddell and Tito Ortiz, man. I just don't want to.
That's hard.
I just don't want to see another fight like that.
Because that might happen. Like we just don't know.
They should just keep it at 5 rounds. Keep the fight at 5 rounds.
Nice.
Yeah.
That would be kind of nice. But at
Yeah,
the same
5
time, I think that
rounds.
would. Well, I would think that it would be an advantage for
Mike,
but at the end of the day, we still don't know. We still don't know.
I
So
can't wait. It's in 2 weeks.
who do you want to win?
I want Mike to win because like I love Mike Tyson, man.
That's it.
And I like Roy Jones' story. Him growing up and how he overcame certain challenges. At home, I love his style, but I was always a Mike Tyson guy. I was always more into watching the heavyweights than the middleweights, or that's just me. Like even to this day, I go back to watch the Joe Frazier's and the George Foreman's, like just the old school. So yeah, I always vote for the big guy, man.
Yeah. So I'm definitely gonna say like, I actually like Mike Tyson is a huge idol. You've seen I have a poster in my room. He's one of my favorite fighters of all time.
Favorite celebrities.
Just
my favorite celebrity.
Hilarious guy. That's just it. I want him to
or I should say, like, and if he loses, I want him to lose gracefully and not get brutalized.
Yeah. Maybe the ref will jump in there and kind of stop it.
Because I like both of them.
Yeah, that's it. It's hard to. I don't know. I don't want to see that. Anyways, that's it for today. That's pretty much it on Roy Jones Jr. versus Mike Tyson.
That's right.
We're just gonna have to tune in and find out. This is the Cristo Desir podcast. Of course, I'm Cristo Desir, and with me,
Danny. Just Danny.
Peace.